Ben Carson, Ben Carson, Ben Carson. There's some positives and some negatives to the speech. Now, let's get the obvious out of the way. He says there are some people who came here as immigrants on the bottom of slave ships and they worked for even less. We know that slaves worked for free, and we know that slaves ain't immigrants. And so, of course, the left has chosen that one part out of the speech, of course, to highlight. And people who don't pay no attention to politics and have not even been watching him, or would never even sit down and watch the entire speech, that's what they're going to focus on. And I don't want to sound like Samuel L. Jackson in Django, but I'm just saying it's just some people, you'd be wondering if they was listening at the meeting, okay? So we need him to stay on message, and that ain't it. And politically, I'm not mad at him for saying it. First of all, I'm not mad at him for saying it because, mind you, the same people who are criticizing him for drawing a parallel between slaves and immigrants are the same people who have given up their own vote, have not voted in their own best interest because they want to help the immigrants that they don't have nothing in common with. I'm like, that's what the hell I've been saying all this time. Now, maybe Ben Carson needs to pull up a chair and join this here conversation that we are having, since we have included the conversation about race into the conversation about politics and how it affects Trump. Why am I doing that? I'm doing it for a reason. The reason is I'm trying to give you some clues as to not flub this up. Damn, we got some good momentum. Coming up in 2 years, we're trying to squash out these Democrats. If you do not start talking to black people like you've been black all this time, then you're missing out on a whole nother group of votes that we could have going forward. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to the issues, there isn't a disagreement. The disagreement is coming in the delivery. Ben Carson is not a great speaker. He did some things in speeches I would advise you guys not to do going forward. If you guys are doing public speaking. At the end of the speech, he did the Think Big acronym. If you're going to use an acronym, don't ever pick something with that many damn letters. And I don't even recommend you doing it if you're talking to people over the age of 25. The other thing is you want to give stories and examples some kind of way. But if you cannot weave the stories and examples into the point that you're making some kind of way and make it seamlessly without it sounding like you just you're telling these stories because you're trying to gain a certain type of sympathy or emotionally control the audience. You don't want to use stories for that. You want to use stories to illustrate your point, because otherwise you just wasting people's time. Lisa Nichols is an excellent speaker, and if you've seen her before, her speeches in terms of her like story time and that kind of stuff and a lot of her subject matter doesn't change very much throughout the years. You know, I noticed that she does use a lot of the same stories. So that doesn't mean though it's not really good. It's still she's a really good speaker. And so if you're looking for some speaking techniques, I would say that's a good person to look at. Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, and it's a bunch of others, right? That lady who made that spider hair scratch thing, I can't think of her name right off the top of my head, but she's an excellent speaker too. At any rate, Ben Carson ain't one of them. The other thing too is when you major in a science-related field and then you go to medical school, they don't really have time to really delve into sociology, and they don't take a lot of electives, and there's a intellectual disconnect as well, because he's really smart about some things, and then other things I can tell he's brand new to because he honestly hasn't been paying attention. It hasn't affect. He hasn't exercised certain muscles. You know what I'm saying? In certain conversations, Ben Carson has not been really having, and we gonna need you to tighten that up, bro. Like I'm disappointed in his statement. I'm also disappointed in his answer to the question, how are you going to further civil rights? Because he started talking about we don't want to impose things on people. I don't know. Bottom line is, in this HUD department, we need you to just make sure that there is not racist practices going on, and that one group of Americans is not being marginalized in terms of our property. And if you have some different programs or something that you want to roll out, as long as it's not going to bankrupt us, then let's hear what they are. So that's what I was looking for. What programs are you going to roll out? Now, let me just go on ahead and reach for the stars. You know, if I'm on your team, I'll reach for you. So let's reach. Let's say that he did not talk about specifically what the HUD department wants to do because they want to keep that on the hush. And hell, let's reach for another star. Let's say maybe he was using reverse psychology, since the left likes to compare slaves to immigrants. Maybe the only way to get the descendants of slaves to realize that they are not coming from immigrants would be to tell them that they are, and then they would believe the opposite, and then they would get mad, and then the liberals would be all confused, like, wait a minute, I'm not an immigrant. Wait a minute, I'm not an immigrant. Well, why am I out here riding with the immigrants? Well, I don't know. Well, should I roll with Ben Carson? But no, he thinks I'm an immigrant. I don't know. They're probably confused. They have finding it hard to sleep tonight, so that part's kind of funny. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but jeez Louise. It's like join the conversation. This is what we're sitting here talking about, and then you would know, and then we wouldn't have these problems, you know? So that's that. What else? Let's talk about flat earth. Sheesh. Let's talk about flat earth, okay? Because it came up when I was doing a live the other day. There's a couple basketball players, don't give me the line, is it Kyrie Irving or some of them, that they're getting teased right now for the flat earth thing. And I haven't seen very many women discuss flat earth. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about why the flat earth debate is a very valid one, and it's really not something to laugh at. First of all, I think that there is a large probability that the flat earth theory is closer to the truth than the ball earth theory, simply because the flat earth theory lines up with mathematics, and we have no evidence, not mathematical, not picture photograph evidence. We have absolutely no evidence whatsoever that we are on an actual ball. Now, if NASA were to take a picture with an iPhone, Polaroid, anything of the earth and show it to me, then I would be satisfied with that, you know, and I'm not holding on to a flat earth ideal to the point where it has to be that, or else I'm going to experience some kind of cognitive dissonance. I'm just saying, why y'all ain't got no pictures? Some of you are saying, I've seen pictures of the earth. Well, if you can Google, you can pull up any pictures of earth, any planet, anything out in the damn sky, okay? And you will notice it's probably somewhere near the photo credit line, it will say this is a CGI composite or something like that. What they do is they generate images based on what they think objects in the, what do we call it, outer space looks like, using radar and lights and all kind of other stuff like that. Now, I've looked through telescopes, okay? When I look through telescopes, I have seen dots. I've seen bright, really bright, sparkly dots. And everything to me looks like a star. I have not actually, with my own eyeballs, really seen planets that I could be like, that's a planet, you know? When they say, oh, you can see Venus, we see a reddish looking star, but they're like, oh, well, it look like that because you're far away. That's what they tell us, okay? But my question is, if there's two other planets closer to the sun than we are, and we are going around the sun rotating on our axis at 1,000 miles an hour, also going around the sun at the same time, like how come we never, like clear as day, could at least see like a spot? Oh, what's that spot on the sun? Oh, it's a planet right there blocking, right? No, they got an answer for that too, of course. The other thing is this is called a planet. Plane, and then they throw a T on the end. Well, we know a plane, right, from geometry. It's a flat surface. Airplanes. They wouldn't call it an airplane if it wasn't going over what is a flat surface. If the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles an hour, then essentially you should be able to hover, and then New York should roll to you. So the criticism of that, somebody said, well, the Earth atmosphere is different because of gravity than it would be in outer space. So that's the reason why the Earth doesn't spin towards you. Okay, well, first of all, that's called cognitive dissonance. Now, when you create a look an alternative fact, because it says where that that relationship and speed don't make a difference just because of the atmosphere. Also, at the crux of the flat earth argument, flat earthers believe that there's no such thing as gravity. What do you mean no such thing as gravity? I'm sitting down, I'm standing, right now. Well, if you're on a flat surface, you wouldn't need gravity, right? Flat earthers believe that it's the same principles here on this flat surface as it would be in the water. Some objects float, some objects sink to the bottom based on mass and based on density, not gravity. If there was a force pulling everything down, then it would not matter what type of object you had, there would be no way that it could float. Like the Bermuda Triangle that actually has a force that is pulling. So if there is a gravity pulling us to the ground, then surely a balloon, why is it able to float? The gravity should be able to bring that down too. So they believe that gravity is a fake concept that was created to explain away, try to make this whole thing make sense, because people obviously wanted to know, if we're on a ball, then how come the people at the bottom ain't fell off? Flat earthers believe we're on kind of in the pizza. So this pizza crust is the ice wall. That's why north is north for everybody. That's why the North Star is a North Star for everybody. This is just valid. I mean, it's real. Why is the North Star the same north for me as it is for Africa, as it is for Australia, as it is up in Canada, as it is in Asia? Why is everybody North Star north? Right? So Mary and Joseph was following the North Star in Jerusalem, and it's the same North Star here. It's still north. So the only way that would be possible would be if we were on a flat surface. And then it would be probably like straight up, or maybe the North Star is the middle. I don't know about that part. So that's valid. That's a valid part as well. The thing is, every question that flat earthers pose, there isn't a ball earth explanation that is plausible. We have the International Space Station, which is hovering over the Earth, and it's supposed to be showing us what is happening on planet Earth. But they can't show us the entire Earth. They're showing us a section that looks like the beach. Then there's times when it goes completely black and you can't see anything at all. Okay? So I can't figure out, y'all told me we could see the Luxor Hotel from space. Like, I can't figure out, with all the different, with Japan and all the lights they got, and Vegas and all this, why do you have sections where everything is just absolutely pitch black, can't see anything, when y'all been telling us that we could see these things from space? I know you didn't think I could see the Luxor light during the daytime, so I assumed you was talking about from space at a point where it's dark. So that part don't make no sense. It doesn't also make sense how they're able to keep up with the Earth without being anchored to it if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and also simultaneously going around the sun at the same damn time. Then how in the hell is the International Space Station staying in the same place? And we only getting one camera angle. So don't laugh at the flat earthers, because it makes good sense to me. And then you have the people who say, well, the Earth ain't round. Technically, it's a little fatter on the inside, or it's shaped like a dreidel, Or it's like an ice cream cone. My whole thing is they didn't show us an ice cream cone. They didn't show us a deflated basketball that was kind of like flat. They didn't show us that, okay? They showed us a perfectly round ball with bright blue water. And they said, this is the earth. That's what they said. And then there was also the question of, with all this advanced technology in this 2017, why are we at the moon already? Why don't we go all the time? Why haven't we been back? Why y'all ain't got no pictures? So I think those are some valid questions. So you guys tell me what you think. But if I had to pick, because I'm not a fence rider, I'm either or. If I had to pick, I would say it's flat. I mean, let's just eyeball it. Does it feel like we moving? It doesn't. The airplane thing doesn't make any sense. I've been in boats. I've been on ships in the ocean and all that kind of stuff. And you're telling me gravity is the reason why we didn't go. There's no curve in the ocean. You're telling me gravity is keeping water from pouring. That doesn't make. That just don't. It doesn't make any sense. Gravity is pushing the water up here and keep, like, y'all know water sticks its own level, right? So that just, it's like mathematically, scientifically impossible for the earth to be on a ball. It's just mathematically, scientifically impossible. Now the Bible says that we are in like a dome, and this is a flat surface, and then this here, the firmament, it is a firmament protection, and then on top of that is water. So, if that's the case, that would mean that my other theory that there are no planets. Ain't no planets, ain't no damn space, ain't no aliens. There's none of that. It's very easy to make that up. I mean, look at how much money they've made on big movies and like all that kind of, they made big movies, creating this fictitious world, the outer space with unlimited possibilities. It's a brilliant friggin' idea. There's a sucker born every minute. And when they came up with it, there wasn't any YouTube or internet or any, like, they could not conceive when they created this of people being able to really go behind them or share their thoughts or their theories about how it was all like a bunch of baloney. And at one point, there's many people who believed that the earth was flat. Also, using a but see, even our map, they even have we got a flat map. Remember the ones you pulled down in the classroom? So, I'm sorry, guys, but I think there's a strong case to be made. Don't laugh at the flat earthers. But make sure you guys tell me what you think. And we're going to officially start the radio show Tuesday morning coming up. Just make sure we got everything ready. So it's going to start March 14th. All right. Thanks, guys.